Hey there, Leo, and welcome to your monthly general tarot reading for October. We're just going to get into this. We're going to do a 3-card spread, step back, step forward. Don't think that a step back is necessarily a bad thing, but this will be what you want to do with a situation or person you might be dealing with. We got a pop out for you. But just, the cards will let us know if it's bad or good or whatever, right? But thank you for being here, Leo. Hope this is going to resonate with you. Hope this is going to help you out. Camera shake from Spike as he takes off into the great blue yonder, I guess. But thank you for being here, Leo, and let's see what else we got here for you. All right, so we're starting things off with the Seven of Pentacles. We've got the Hanged Man, and we get the Page of Swords. All right, so just starting off with your step back position, step backing and doing some hard work. I feel like with the Hangman here, before we get into it too quickly, it feels like you might be stagnating here, just in your present situation. So just maybe need to step back and start doing some hard work, even though that work you might be thinking, is it really worth it? Maybe you still just need to kind of get back into the grind and the hustle and, things like that, right? Just kind of getting back into that groove, getting back into why you were working so hard, because the Hangman, like, you've kind of stagnated. Maybe it's like you need to kind of go back and sort of, get back into working in, like, with some fresh eyes and see, like, okay, can we solve this problem in a different way back here, right? Sometimes with situations, I find go into it the first time and it's like things don't work out and you're just kind of like, why haven't things been working out? So let's take a step back, see what we've been doing, evaluate the work we've been doing before, and kind of make maybe 1 or 2 changes, and then come back and see if we're still stagnating, see if things still aren't working out, and then go back and just kind of keep going back to the drawing board, right? So possible option for you there is just kind of go back, do some reworking, and maybe we'll get past this little blockade here. The Hangman also can represent, in your present position here, as I've already said, stagnation here, because he is hanging upside down. He's not moving. He's not going anywhere. But the Hangman is also a card of enlightenment. As you can see, he has this little halo around his head, and he's gained enlightenment. He's looking at things in a different perspective. Obviously, these are some good cards. For example, these 2 characters, the Page of Swords and the person here in the Seven of Pentacles, are both upright. And oddly enough, are both looking in the same direction. Whereas the Hangman is, not only is he upside down, he's looking at us, right? He's looking at the world in a completely different perspective here. Whereas maybe with the other 2 cards, you're kind of looking in a similar direction. You're kind of looking towards the past. But the Hangman instead is looking around, evaluating, gaining some insight here. So I feel like it's possible, if you're not stagnating currently, you're in a position where you're kind of gaining some illumination, some enlightenment, and things of that nature here, which is great. That's always awesome. So potentially, if you want to just keep kind of being a knowledge sponge, you just want to keep kind of soaking in the information, you just kind of want to keep thinking about what's going on and kind of evaluating and looking at the world in a different perspective, then it's quite possible that you can just stay here and maintain this. One thing, a friend of mine, who obviously I won't be naming here or anything, we were talking a bit about some things that were going on in our local area, just some things between some fishermen and some native Canadians. There's some things going on where there's some disputes over fishing rights and things like that, and personally, that's above my pay grade. I don't know what any of that's about. But there was definitely some racial undertones to it, obviously, if not that being the main reason behind everything. And my friend of mine, he was kind of he was just looking at it brass tacks, what does the paper say and stuff like that. And we all kind of were talking to him a bit hey man, that's probably some of it, but there is probably some racial reasons for this actually taking place as well, which, obviously that's not right. That shouldn't be, involved at all, obviously. But we were talking to him about it, and he was just he just didn't see the world that way. And it wasn't that like he's racist or anything. It's just more like a kind of naivety. He's just naive, right? Kind of like the Page of Swords can be a bit naive, right? But that might be what's happening with you. I'm not saying that's exactly the situation that's going on, but maybe you were a bit naive before, and now you're kind of opening up and being like, oh, this is kind of how things are actually. Like maybe I've been kind of shut in, closed-minded, whatever, and didn't really, kind of clue in to this, right? And so that might be just a situation you're dealing with where you were very kind of like, you weren't looking at it from any other perspective other than the one you were looking at it. And now kind of things are opening up. And it's kind of like, oh, I've been so naive this whole time. And now I realize, oh, I should have been doing this, that, or the other thing, right? So that's if you want to stay here, just gain some more enlightenment. Nothing wrong with that, but careful you do not stagnate. So long story long. And if you want to take a step forward, you need to reach out and make some sort of communication here. The Page of Swords is a person that wants to gain clarity, and they want to start taking those steps towards that. They're getting as high up as they can, right? You can see they're kind of on this hill here. They're trying to get their head above the clouds. They're not quite there yet, but they are trying to get their head above the clouds to gain that clarity, figure out what's going on in their life. I feel like if you reach out, it's kind of going to be with the purpose of looking at the past, looking at your past self, looking at a past situation, a past person you've dealt with, and really evaluating and seeing, like, getting clarity from that, right? This is kind of how I'm seeing things. Very much evaluating the past and trying to get as, like, kind of a high perspective as possible, sort of looking at it in a different way. So for example, when I was younger, I had some bad dealings with a friend of mine and this girl, and me and my friend both liked her, and it caused a big, kerfuffle and stuff. And because I thought she was interested in me, and she was, but eventually she lost interest in me, but she didn't know how to communicate that to me, and instead just kind of let it kind of go on and drag on, and then end up going very badly for me and my friend and her. Eventually ended up kind of creating a rift, and I'm no longer friends with any of them, and they're no longer friends with each other either, right? And that's kind of what nowadays I look back at it as we were just young and dumb, right? We were just kind of young and dumb, and nobody really knew how to express yourselves, because when you're young, you don't know how to express yourself properly. You don't have clarity, right? And I feel like it's kind of like you might be kind of starting on that path here where you're kind of gaining clarity on a situation, kind of taking yourself out of it, trying to look at it from kind of a top-down view, where it's like, okay, take me out of it, take myself out of it, and just three people in this situation, what happened, right? So I feel very much for you in this situation as a whole. It's either you need to kind of take a step back, do some rework, and then come back at it once you've kind of figured a new path or something here, try this, or you can just stay here, gain some more insight, gain some more information, try to figure things out that way. Or you can take a step forward, try to gain some clarity, try to work towards gaining clarity, getting your head out of the clouds by kind of taking a step back and kind of looking at things as sort of like a bigger picture rather than so personally and so close. So that is what I've got for you for this reading, Leo. Thank you so much for being here. Hope this helped you out. Hope this resonated with you on some degree or another. If you want to help out the channel, hitting that thumbs up button, that helps out a ton. If you want to, if you like what I do here, you can subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't already. You can, of course, check out your Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus sign videos too after this one. Get a full perspective of what's going on with you in this month of October. Thank you again for being here, Leo, and I will see you in the next video.